Can dragons, phoenixes, and Qilins weave east and west together? Wander their timeless myth, where worlds collide, uniting in starlit wonder. Close your eyes, drift deeper, little one, where winds weave tales from realms forgotten by time. You stand where east meets west, a dreamscape aglow, under starlit mist, shimmering like jade. In the east, the Shan Hai Jing hums, its ancient pages alive, with sacred beasts born of Qi. Seas churn, clouds swirl, birthing spirits older than the mountains. Dragons coil through misty waves, their scales gleaming like moonlight on restless waters. Xiqi soars, its red wings trailing ribbons of light, a song of harmony, echoing over tranquil valleys. Qilin treads softly, its single horn glowing, a beacon of mercy, guiding lost souls through twilight. In the west, tales echo through shadowed woods, fiery mountains, where embers dance like stars. Dragons roar, their steel wings guarding hoarded gold, their flames a challenge to the brave. Phoenixes rise, from ashes reborn, their fiery plumes lighting the dawn. Unicorns hide, their spiraled horns pure as starlight, healing with a gentle touch. These realms, though oceans apart, share a heartbeat, a whisper of wonder, pulsing through the ages. Their myths entwine, light and shadow dancing, calling you deeper, into a dream where east and west unite, their spirits eternal, their songs a lullaby for your soul. A dragon rises from the eastern sea, its serpentine form winding like liquid, gliding through swirling mist, its scales shimmering like jade. Born of ancient Qi, with camel's head, deer antlers, rabbit eyes, it dances wingless, under moonlight's glow. Its breath whispers, bringing gentle rain, each droplet a gift, nurturing rivers, reviving fields. The Shan Hai Jing sings of its power, a symbol of life, renewal, the emperor's will. It coils through clouds, its presence calming storms, its scales catching starlight, a beacon for the weary. Far in the west, a dragon unfurls vast wings, bat-like, shadowed, its steel scales glinting like forged iron. Fire leaps from its jaws, guarding hoarded gold or holding towers captive. Beneath the crimson sky, its roar shakes mountains, a trial for knights, born in tales of ancient valor. Each beat of its wings, sparks fly, challenging the brave to face its fiery wrath. One dragon dances with clouds, its rain kissing the earth, a bringer of hope, a guardian of peace. The other guards with fury, its flames scorching the bold, a test of courage, a shadow of dread. Yet both are dragons, their spirits fierce, their eyes ancient, binding east and west. In a dance of eternal might, their roars echoing through the ages, their scales a bridge across the stars.
It's not a shout, but a whisper soft as the rustle of leaves. Yet it spreads, rippling through the city like a breeze across still water, like the murmur of history itself. You turn toward the city gate, where Zhou stands, his whisk in hand, his face calm yet unreadable. Behind him, figures glow faintly in the mist. Nezha, Jian, Zhenzi, the gods of tomorrow, their light soft but certain. A new era is stirring, ready to unfold. You want to ask, what becomes of the old era? Where does it go when the new one begins? But the words dissolve, unanswered, carried away by a wind that no longer lingers. A flash of lightning splits the sky, bright but silent. You see no blood, no fire, only shadows falling, and a distant boom, like a bell tolling at midnight, marking the end of a dynasty. Chaoga grows quiet, its heartbeat stilled. King Zhou is gone. Daji has vanished. The remaining soldiers kneel, their foreheads touching the earth, not in reverence but in weariness, as if the weight of the world has finally broken them. Zhang steps toward the scroll. With a gentle wave of his whisk, a name appears, glowing faintly. You try to read it, but the light is too bright, too fleeting. His voice, soft as a lullaby, reaches you. No one will be forgotten. No one is nameless. You smile, a quiet curve of your lips. Perhaps he speaks the truth. Or perhaps it's a comfort woven for a world that has already passed. Either way, the words settle over you, warm and soft, like a blanket on a cold night. And then another sound, a faint rustle, like wings unfolding behind you, like the first stirrings of a dream. You don't turn to look. You don't need to. The story is only beginning, and as you drift into its embrace, you know you'll carry it with you, into the night, into the quiet, into the stars.
Can a three-legged bird of fire light the world? or burn it to ash. Drift into the Golden Crow's myth, where flames of dawn dance across a starlit sky, weaving wonder eternal. Drift deeper, little one, where winds hum tales from a time before time began, before seasons knew their rhythm. You stand in a dreamscape, lit by crimson glow, wrapped in starlit mist, shimmering like ancient jade, glowing like forgotten embers. In the east, the Shan Hai Jing whispers, its pages alive, with sacred flames born of primal chi, older than the mountains, deeper than the seas. The three-legged golden crow rises, not a bird of flesh, but a spirit of fire, woven from the heart of myths, its light a pulse of eternity. Its three legs, a dance of heaven, earth, humanity, weaving sun and moon across the endless void, binding day to night. It soars from the Fusang tree, its ancient branches heavy with light, rooted deep in the eastern sea, its roots drinking from restless waves. The tree's leaves shimmer like embers in the dawn, whispering secrets of a primal age, echoing through forgotten valleys. The world trembles as the crow's flames trace the sky, leaving trails of glowing ember, a song of fire and shadow humming through the mist. The air grows warm, the wind carries its lullaby, calling you deeper into a dream where light and darkness sway, where time bends under its glow.
One night, you see her standing alone in the courtyard, a bronze mirror in her hands. She does not gaze at her own reflection, but holds the mirror toward the sky. No clouds appear in its surface, only a distorted red circle, like a sun warped by unseen hands. She says nothing, but you feel it, Something or someone is watching her through that mirror. A faint whisper rises, like wind brushing through dry leaves. The time has come. Burn this dynasty. With your eyes. With your words. No soul. No blood. Only your steps, as soft as they've always been. You lower your gaze, but the image clings to you, etched into your memory long after the night has passed. It haunts you still, years later, as vivid as the moment you saw it. In the palace, King Zhou orders a tower of sandalwood built, its craftsmen buried alive within its pillars to preserve its spirit. Once a stern and just ruler, he now drowns in decadence, lost in pleasures that seem to bloom in Daji's presence. You cannot blame him. If you had looked into her eyes, you might have followed the same path, surrendering to the pull of her gaze. But this is not a tale of right or wrong, of good or evil. It is the beginning of a game, its rules rewritten each time the moon rises. You are merely a witness, forbidden to question, powerless to intervene.
A golden crow soars, its raven-like form cloaked in flickering flames, its 3 legs glowing, a beacon against the endless night, piercing the dark with radiant trails. From the Fusong tree, 9, 10, rise together, their wing beats stirring the air, painting the heavens with searing fire, their glow a storm of light, their flames, not warmth, but a blazing inferno, scorching earth where they linger too long. Rivers dry to cracked beds, fields turn to ash, forests wither, their branches curling, under the weight of fiery trails. Mountains glow red, the sea mirrors their blaze. The Shan Hai Jing tells of their power, guardians of an ancient rhythm, their light a mystery, wild, untamed, a force of creation and ruin. One crow glides past a fading moon, its wings brushing the horizon, rewriting time across the stars, its glow a whisper of primal fire. No cry, just the hush of flames, each flap sending a warm breeze, stirring half-burned memories, awakening the earth's forgotten dreams. Sand turns to molten treasure, darkness retreats, step by step, yet their fire, unchecked, sows chaos. Rivers evaporate, skies burn red, their dance, creation and destruction. A warning in their flames, a promise in their light, binding myth to reality. Their glow a bridge across the ages, their wings a song of eternal fire. Can one archer fell 9 suns to save a burning world? Join Ho Yi's epic legend. Close your eyes, drift deeper, little one, where the wind weaves forgotten tales. You stand at a burning world's edge, the ground trembling beneath a sky torn by 10 fiery suns. Their rays clash, a dazzling inferno, scorching earth to ash. Rivers fade, their beds cracked and silent, once vibrant streams now dust. Trees wither, their branches like skeletal hands, crumbling under relentless heat. Mortals' cries rise, faint as smoke, carried by a trembling breeze. Long ago, the witch-demon war shook the heavens, its rage birthing 10 spirit birds, golden crows, soaring as suns, their light a curse of vengeance. Forests groan, leaves curl like tears, falling to the parched earth. Birds falter, wings heavy with exhaustion, dropping like dry petals. Villages lie still, homes crumble into embers, dreams turn to cinders. Farmers clutch barren fields, their hopes burn to dust, their voices lost in the wind. Yet the breeze whispers, soft, persistent, a thread of hope. Far off, a figure stirs, Hoi, heir of Kwafu, who chased the sun across endless miles. His silver bow gleams, a shard of moonlight, his heart steady as ancient stone. By his side, Chang'e stands, her gaze a quiet beacon, her love a shield against the flames. They face a sky ablaze, their resolve a whisper of salvation, ready to defy the heavens. Hoi steps through the suffocating haze, his silver bow gleaming like moonlight in a world of fire. His eyes, deep as a storm-tossed sea, hold the sky's fury, the earth's pain. He draws his first arrow, its silver tip a streak of defiance, piercing a golden crow's heart. The sun shrieks, its flames fading to ash, plummeting with a thunderous crash. You breathe cinders, mixed with faded hopes, as the air grows heavy. Another arrow flies, swift and true, tearing a second sun's core. Hoi's heart aches, each shot a wound to his soul, yet he cannot falter. A third arrow, a fourth, each loosed with trembling hands, each a whisper of sacrifice. The sky roars, a cacophony of dying gods, but Hoi stands firm, his bow singing a hymn of salvation. A fifth sun falls, then a sixth, their light dimming, their heat cooling. 3 more suns crash, their embers drifting like snow, carrying the scent of burned dreams. Stars flicker in a darkening sky, and one gentle sun remains, guarded by ancient mists, spared to light a world reborn. Rivers hum, their ripples sing, grass sprouts through blackened earth. The heavens sigh, a long, trembling breath, as light softens. Hoi lowers his bow, ash white in his hair, his victory a bittersweet song to a world no longer burning.
The mist of Kunlun swirls around you, cool and soft, carrying the faint scent of pine and snow. The wind hums, the snow falls, and the story continues, pulling you gently forward into the unfolding of a new dawn. The wind carries you now to a jagged cliff overlooking Chintang Pass, where the air hums with the promise of something extraordinary. From this high perch, you feel the world holding its breath, the wind swirling from every corner of the earth, as if drawn to a single point of destiny. The sky above is a deep, brooding blue, heavy with clouds that seem to pulse with secrets. Birds wheel against the gusts, their cries sharp and fleeting, as if fleeing an unseen force.
Then, from the distance, a sound rises, a cry, sharp and resonant, like thunder born in the heart of a summer storm.
It sends a shiver through you, not the wail of an ordinary child, but a voice woven with the roar of rivers, the sigh of mountains, the pulse of the heavens themselves. You are drawn to the Li family's home in Chintang Pass, a rugged land where the earth seems to hum with latent spiritual energy, though its fields lie dry and unyielding. For 3 years and 6 months, Lady Een has carried a child, her belly swollen as if she cradles a mountain within her. The villagers whisper in hushed tones, their eyes darting nervously.
Some call the unborn child en Ilomène, harbinger of chaos.
In quiet corners, they light incense, praying to ward off whatever demon or spirit might emerge. You feel their fear, a soft undercurrent in the air, mingling with the scent of dust and distant rain. The day arrives, midday, when the wind shifts abruptly, blowing backward from the east.
The sky darkens a clouds gâtés, thick and restless, cloaking the sun.
Lady Een cries out, her pain echoing through the courtyard like a song of the earth itself. A bolt of lightning cracks, splitting the stones at the center of the yard, and she gives birth, not to a child, but to a strange, pulsing mass of flesh, round and heavy as a ceramic jar, without limbs, without the shape of anything human. The air grows still, as if the world pauses to witness what comes next. Li Jing, the father, a warrior hardened by years of duty, stares at the mass with a mix of dread and fury. "A monster!" he roars, his voice trembling with both anger and fear. "Why should we keep such a thing?" He draws his sword, its blade glinting in the dim light, and raises it to strike. But in that moment, a radiant light bursts from the mass, soft yet blinding, like a star breaking free from the night. From within emerges a child, small but radiant, his eyes gleaming like twin constellations, his lips red as dawn, his brows sharp as the edge of a blade.
Elogue, a sound so pure it steals the wind for a single breathless moment.
The world seems to bow before him, and you know without being told that this is Nezha, the third son of Li Jing, one of the 3 princes of Chintang Pass.
Nezha is no ordinary child.
By the 3rd day he speaks, his voice clear and bold, carrying the weight of someone far older than his years. He moves with the grace of the wind, gliding across the ground as effortlessly as a fish through a stream. He does not eat mortal food, drawing instead on the spiritual energy that hums in the air around him. He does not cry, but gazes upward, his eyes searching the sky as if asking, "Why am I here?
What purpose brought me to this world?"
The village's eldest fortune-teller, his hands trembling with age, studies the boy and shakes his head. "This child," he murmurs, "bears not the fate of man but of a god." That year, the seas grow restless, their waves crashing with a fury that speaks of divine discontent. The Dragon King of the East sends his third son, Bing, to patrol the mortal realm. By chance, the Dragon Prince crosses paths with Nezha, who is playing by the shore, his laughter mingling with the rhythm of the waves. Words are exchanged, sharp, prideful, reckless. In a moment of youthful defiance, Nezha wields the Qianquan circle, a divine weapon gifted by his master, Tai Zhenren, and strikes down Bing. The sea roars in protest, the sky darkens, and the Dragon King unleashes a tempest, vowing to drown Qintang Pass in retribution for his son's death. You stand witness as Nezha kneels before his parents, his small frame unbowed by fear, his eyes clear of tears. "I caused this calamity," he says, his voice steady as stone. "I cannot bring ruin to our family.
Let me return this body to you."
Before the ancestral shrine, he performs an act unimaginable, carving his bones for his father, his flesh for his mother, his body collapsing like a willow branch snapped by a storm.
The sky let out a mournful roar, and the earth beneath your feet tremble, as if grieving the loss of something sacred.
You want to look away, to shield yourself from the weight of this moment, but you cannot.
A Nezha mortal form false, something else stir, a spark, a presence, rising like a flamme from amber.
His soul does not fade. It soars, swift and unyielding, to Qianyuan Mountain, where Tai Zhenren dwells in quiet seclusion. The sage, his face calm as still water, gathers lotus roots from the sacred Biyu Lake, their petals glowing faintly in the mist. With careful hands, he shapes them into a human form, pure and unblemished. He calls Nezha's soul back, placing it within the lotus body, and with the ancient 8 extreme soul recall incantation, breathes life into him once more. Nezha awakens, no longer a child of flesh and blood, but a being of lotus, pure, untethered from the mortal world, yet carrying the weight of his past. When he returns to Qintang Pass, Li Jing steps back, his eyes clouded with fear. He does not recognize this boy, this lotus-born figure who stands before him. He denies his son, turning away from the truth of what Nezha has become. Nezha does not argue. He lowers his head, a quiet gesture of acceptance, and turns to leave. On his back, he carries the Qianquan circle and the Hun Tianling pearl, their weight a reminder of the destiny he now bears. You watch him go, his small frame silhouetted against the fading light, his eyes still asking, "Why was I born?
Why must he endure?"
No answer comes, not from you, not from the heavens, not from the winds that carry you forward. But you know this, a champion of the scroll of divinity has been forged, his path set by sacrifice and rebirth. The air around you softens, carrying the faint scent of lotus blossoms, their fragrance weaving through the mist like a promise. The clouds part, revealing a sky vast and heavy with possibility. Nezha's journey is only beginning, and you, a silent breeze trailing in his wake, feel the pull of his story, a tale of defiance, redemption, and the spark of divinity kindled in a child's unyielding heart. The wind grows gentle now, wrapping you in its cool embrace. The world hums softly, as if singing a lullaby to itself, and you drift forward, carried by the quiet rhythm of a new chapter unfolding. You lift your gaze to the heavens, where the 9th layer of clouds drifts in silent procession. Something is shifting, a subtle change, like a door softly closing, yet the wind still whistles through its cracks, carrying whispers of a world on the cusp of transformation. You find yourself at the sacred terrace atop Ling Mountain, where the air is so pure it feels like breathing starlight. Here, 12 figures in flowing robes stand quietly before the vast emptiness. They are the 12 golden immortals, disciples of Yuan Tianzuan, the revered master of the three pure ones. Each is a star that once illuminated the mortal realm, each a story left half told, their light now dimmed by the weight of what lies ahead. You watch as they depart, one by one, from the sacred terrace. No flowers mark their path, no drums herald their steps. Only a faint wisp of smoke clings to their sleeves, and in their eyes burns a quiet sorrow, like embers glowing beneath a dying fire. The heavens have decreed that they must not meddle in mortal affairs, yet the scroll of divinity has been unfurled. King Zhou's cruelty has poisoned the land, and the cries of the suffering rise like a tide. How can they stand idle, gazing from the clouds, while the world below unravels? And so they descend, not to defy the laws of heaven, but to cradle a fragile spark of hope for humanity. You drift behind them, a silent presence, witnessing their quiet resolve as they step into the mortal realm. The first you see is Zhenzi, riding a white crane, his gray robe blending with the mist of the mountains. In his hand, an empty wine gourd sways gently, but his other hand grips the celestial whisk, a weapon said to shatter even gods who stray from the path. His voice is soft, carried to the wind. The way exists to save people. If no people remain, what is the way for? His words linger, simple yet heavy, as he fades into the mortal world, his crane's wings brushing the clouds. Next comes Tai Zhenren, Nezha's master, his purple robe embroidered with clouds, his long beard shimmering like dew-kissed threads. He carries no divine weapon, only a bamboo flute, its notes once used to lull his disciple to sleep. As he passes Kunlun mountain, he pauses, bowing slightly, his voice a whisper. This path will sing no gentle songs anymore. The flute rests against his lips, but no sound comes, as if the music itself mourns what is to come. Then Huanglei Zhenren, broad-shouldered and towering, his eyes blazing like twin suns and moons. He cares little for preaching, his heart set on the art of war. In his hand, the primordial golden staff gleams, while iron chains for binding demons drape across his back. He gazes eastward, toward the heart of the Shang dynasty, and murmurs, "King Zhou, have you truly forgotten the meaning of righteousness?" His words carry a weight that echoes through the valleys, a question left unanswered. You see Daoishing Tianzuan, dressed not in a Taoist robe but in simple coarse cloth, his face kind as a village healer's. Yet behind him rests the immortal slaying flying blade, a weapon to be used only once, when the world can bear no more. His voice is soft, almost a sigh. I do not wish to take life, but the times force my hand. The words settle over you like a gentle rain, heavy with reluctance yet firm with purpose. You follow, a shadow without form, trailing their steps through the mortal realm. A question lingers in your mind. Why do they go, knowing they cannot save everyone? You recall a young disciple once asking the same of Taishang Laojun, the Grand Pure One. His answer was a quiet smile, because they were once human. The words drift through you, simple yet profound, like a pebble sinking into a still pond. The scroll of divinity already bears the names of 100 souls destined to fall. Each battle in the mortal world is a silent prayer sent to the heavens. Each death of a mortal is a step the immortals must take, treading carefully to preserve the way of heaven. You see Zhenzi pause by a shepherd's tent, offering a bowl of warm porridge to an old man who knows not the immortal before him. "Thank you," the man says, his voice rough with hunger. "It's been days since I've eaten." Zhenzi only nods, his eyes soft, before moving on. You see Daoxing Tianzuan tending a garden of herbs in a quiet village, labeling each plant in tiny, delicate script, like the wings of a cicada, so any passerby might learn their healing secrets. Each night, Tai Zhenren plays his flute, its notes floating through the mountain air, and though Nezha is no longer mortal, you sense him listening, his lotus-born heart still stirred by the familiar melody. The sky stretches high above, vast and unyielding. The wind hums softly, carrying the scent of pine and distant rain. You wonder, are these immortals here to fight a war, or to preserve something human in the face of despair? The answer eludes you, slipping through your thoughts like mist through your fingers. But one truth is clear: from the moment they left the sacred terrace, the fate of the scroll of divinity was sealed, its path unchangeable. You linger in their wake, a silent breeze trailing their steps, watching as their light scatters across a darkening world. The clouds above drift on, untouched by the sorrows below, yet the air feels heavier now, charged with the weight of their choice. The 12 golden immortals have descended, not for glory, but for a purpose as quiet and enduring as the mountains themselves. And you, carried by the wind, drift onward, knowing their story is far from over. You drift through the mortal world, trailing the silent steps of immortals who have descended to mend a fraying destiny. But now, a tremor ripples through the air, not from thunder, nor from the quaking earth, but from a single reckless utterance. A voice, bold and irreverent, dares to speak words that should never have been spoken, in a place where even breath should be held in reverence, the temple of Nüwa. You see King Zhou, his face fierce as a dragon, his eyes sharp as lightning, his dragon robe shimmering with imperial splendor. He strides into the ancient temple, a place cold and desolate, untouched by incense or offerings. High above, on a stone dais, stands the statue of Nüwa, the Holy Mother of Creation, her eyes closed as if sleeping through countless centuries. Beneath her, a stone tablet bears the inscription, Sacred Mother of the World, Nüwa Nyang. King Zhou raises his gaze, his eyes lingering on the statue. For a moment, he is still, as if caught in the weight of her presence. Then, as if spurred by wine or inflamed by desire, he laughs, a loud mocking sound that echoes through the silent hall. "If Nüwa Nyang is as divine as they say," he declares, his voice ringing with arrogance, "surely she too would be charmed by me, as all women of the realm are." You hear it clearly. The wind shifts, blowing backward. This is no ordinary breeze, but a gust from the realm of spirits, sharp with disapproval. The temple shudders faintly, as if each stone bristles at his audacity. You step back, a chill creeping up your spine. Some words, once spoken, turn the wheel of fate in ways that cannot be undone. Far above, in the distant heavens, Nüwa sits in serene meditation beside a flowing river of stars. She is a goddess apart from mortal affairs, her heart untroubled by the chaos below. But those words, brash, defiant, reach her in the palace of vast emptiness, cutting through her tranquil focus. You cannot see her face clearly, but the light around her dims, a star falls silently, and an ancient bird ceases its song. Nüwa opens her eyes. A beam of light shoots from her brow, piercing the clouds, the mist, the very earth itself. You feel it in your bones. The wheel of karma has begun to turn. King Zhou returns to Chaoga, oblivious to the taboo he has broken. Days later, at a ceremony in the Grand Temple, he meets a woman, her beauty like a dream woven from moonlight, her eyes deep as autumn lakes, her voice soft as spring rain. She calls herself Daji, daughter of the Hu clan, presented to the court as a gesture of gratitude. You see the shift in King Zhou's gaze, no longer that of a ruler beholding a subject, but of fire meeting oil, a spark ready to ignite. From that moment, the court begins to soften, its rigid order bending like silk in the wind. Discipline frays, replaced by the sway of indulgence. You know, as you did before, that Daji is no ordinary woman. She is an enigma, a question without an answer, her presence a subtle fracture in the fabric of the world. When she smiles, the sky seems to lower by an inch.
When she weeps, rain falls for 3 days without end.
You watch the loyal ministers, Tao Gon, Shang Rong, Zhongqing, their faces creasing with worry, their shoulders hunching as they avoid their king's gaze. King Zhou, once a paragon of virtue, now drowns in excess. By day, he hosts lavish banquets, the air thick with wine and laughter. By night, he orders new pavilions built, their spires piercing the stars. The Deer Terrace rises 300 feet, constructed so Daji might watch the sunset more clearly. The wine pool and meat forest spring forth because she tires of palace fare. And then come the horrors, the cauldron of boiling oil, the red-hot bronze pillar, tortures born from her whispered disdain for the artless laws of old. You stand silent, a cold wind stirring within you. Could a single reckless remark have transformed one of China's noblest kings into a tyrant enthralled by beauty? Or was this darkness always dormant within him, waiting for a spark to set it ablaze? The question lingers, unanswered, heavy as the air before a storm. Behind Daji's smile, you sense a gathering tempest, one that even the celestial court may not withstand. Her laughter ripples through the palace, soft but unyielding, like waves wearing down stone. The ministers' voices grow faint, their warnings drowned in the clink of wine cups. The people beyond the palace walls starve, their fields barren, their hearths cold, while the court dances to a melody only Daji seems to hear. You drift closer, unseen, watching as the king's eyes follow her every move, captivated, lost. The grandeur of Chaoga fades, its walls crumbling under the weight of his obsession. The scroll of divinity looms in the distance, its names unwritten but inevitable, each one a step toward a reckoning. You wonder if King Zhou senses the shadow he has cast, the chain of events set in motion by his careless words in Nüwa's temple. The air grows still, heavy with the scent of incense and foreboding. The stars above dim, as if turning their gaze away from the world below. You, a silent witness, feel the pull of the story deepening, drawing you into its heart. Daji's presence lingers like a half-remembered dream, her beauty a veil over a truth too vast to grasp. And as the winds of fate begin to howl, you know that this is only the beginning of a storm that will reshape the heavens and the earth.
You find yourself lost, adrift in a place where the air feels thick with enchant, where peach blossom bloom in endless soave, yet no besom, no butterfly dance.
You don't recall how you arrived here, only that when you opened your eyes, the world was awash in pink petals, stretching like a soft tide across an endless sea. Each step you take scatters blossoms, their delicate touch brushing your shoulders, your hair, before dissolving into the air as if they never were. You try to call out, but your voice melts into the mist. You turn to retrace your steps, But behind you lies only a forest of peach trees, their branches weaving a labyrinth with no exit. You are trapped in the peach blossom maze. No one knows when Daji wove this maze into being. Some whisper she painted it with a flick of her nails, others that it bloomed from her laughter in a dream. But you see the truth. Every branch here pulses with life, yet no birds perch upon them.
Evry pétale qui vert, yet no braises tirent the air.
Something watches you, its gaze hidden in the heart of each flower. Not all blossoms are meant to be admired, some bloom to ensnare the soul. You wander, your steps heavy with weariness, until a sound cuts through the silence. A flute's mournful note, neither joyful nor sorrowful, but lulling, as if coaxing someone into an eternal slumber. You pause, and before you lies a lake, its surface the color of blood, strewn with drifting peach petals. It reflects not your face, but another's, a man in imperial robes, his eyes clouded with a strange haze. It is King Zhou, standing at the water's edge, a wine cup in his hand. Each sip he takes deepens the lake's crimson hue. How long has he stood there, whispering her name?
Daji.
On the shore, a small pavilion curves like the wings of a phoenix. Daji sits within, her figure serene, as if embroidering a delicate cloth. But no needle rests in her hand, only a single strand of hair, long and black as midnight. With each gentle tug, a petal falls. With each breath she exhales, the maze shifts, its paths twisting like threads in a loom. You realize she is weaving a spell with her very breath, crafting a labyrinth not of walls, but of desire, a place where no one seeks to escape. The sun turns a sickly red, and a blood moon rises early, hanging in the sky like an unhealed wound. You see the court unraveling, its order dissolving into chaos. Ministers speak in contradictions. Traitors are rewarded, the just are condemned, virtue is mocked as outdated, and decadence is hailed as progress. A dynasty retreats into shadow, and at its heart stands a woman whose smile never falters, her eyes unblinking, as if she sees beyond the world itself. You try to turn back, but no path remains. You try to run, but each step conjures a shadow of yourself, weeping among the blossoms. You cover your ears, but Daji's soft laughter seeps into your skin, a melody that lingers like a shiver. You are not the first to wander here, nor will you be the last. This is no mere maze, it is a dream dreamt by someone awake, and you are but a fleeting figure caught within its folds. Beyond the palace, dark clouds gather, heavy with foreboding. The disciples of the Chan and Jie schools, and the Immortals who left the sacred terrace, sense the heavens' order fraying. Each night, rain falls over the palace, not cold, not wet, but carrying the scent of wine and the faint trace of perfume. Strange creatures appear by the river's edge, fish with 3 heads, cats that speak in human tongues, birds weeping black tears. You cannot name the meaning of these omens, but their presence is far from ordinary, a whisper of a world tilting toward ruin. You stand frozen, the maze tightening around you, its blossoms a cascade of fleeting beauty. The air grows heavy, the petals brushing your skin like a lover's touch, yet cold as a warning. You feel the weight of the dream pressing in, blurring the line between reality and illusion. King Zhou's voice echoes faintly, calling her name, lost in a trance that binds him tighter with each passing moment. The court beyond the maze crumbles, its pillars weakening under the strain of indulgence, its people forgotten in the shadow of Daji's smile. You wonder how a single woman could wield such power, how her presence could unravel an empire. Is she the cause, or merely the spark that ignited what was already destined to burn? The question hangs unanswered, a quiet ache in your chest. The maze offers no clarity, only the endless dance of petals and the distant hum of her laughter. Then from within the sea of blossoms, a voice calls to you, soft and clear. Do you still wish to see the light? You search for its source, but find only a small shattered mirror lying among the roots of a peach tree. You peer into it, expecting to see your own reflection, but instead, you see a world collapsing in silence. Towers crumbling, skies darkening, lives fading without a sound. And yet, for reasons you cannot name, you smile, as if the dream has woven you into its spell. The blood moon looms above, its light casting long shadows through the maze. The air grows still, heavy with the scent of peach blossoms and the faint tang of wine. You, a silent wanderer, feel the pull of the story deepening, drawing you further into its heart. The maze holds you gently, its beauty both a comfort and a cage, and as you drift onward, you know that the storm Daji has summoned is only beginning to rise.
You sit by a crystalline stream in the heart of King Shang mountain, where the water mirror a sky fractured by dark, restless wind.
The air hums with an unspoken tension, as if the world anticipates a shift in its delicate balance. Amid this quiet turmoil, a boy kneels by the stream, his hands stained with earth, his forehead damp with sweat, offering silent prayers to the heavens and the earth. He does not know his own name, only that his mother vanished after a night pierced by anguished cries. Whispers drift from the village below, carried on the breeze. He is the son of a woman cursed by the gods. The young clan defied celestial law, that child will bring calamity. Yet when you look into his eyes, you see no bitterness, only a faint shimmering light, like a star waiting to awaken, a third eye yet to open. Qingqing Mountain is a realm of eternal mist, where clouds cling to the peaks like secrets, and every toll of a temple bell seems to ask the heavens, where lies justice? You watch as Yuding Zhenren, a Taoist sage with silver hair flowing like moonlight, approaches the boy. His eyes, deep as ancient wells, linger on the child's face, reading truths hidden even from the boy himself. In his hand, a whisk sways gently, catching the mist. After a long silence, he nods, his voice soft as falling leaves. This child, he will see what others dare not face. From that day, the boy is named Yang Jian, carrying his mother's surname, raised among the pines and fog, nurtured by the rhythm of scriptures, the chime of bells, and the quiet discipline of dawn meditations. At 16, on a night when the wind bites with a piercing chill, Yang Jian sits in meditation beneath an ancient pine, its branches heavy with the weight of centuries. You watch as a light flares on his forehead, a third eye, the heavenly eye, slowly opening. There is no pain, no blinding flash, only a cool breath from the cosmos washing through his mind, sharp and clear as starlight. In that moment, he sees visions no mortal could bear, a river of blood flowing backward toward a crimson sun, a 10-headed bird singing through a haze of fire, a woman chained beneath a mountain, her tears freezing into frost, and a fiery spear piercing the heart of a god who once held the mandate of heaven.
You hold your breath, for young Jian sees not only the past but the future. A future woven with divine blood, mortal tears, and the fragile threads of destiny.
From that day, the villagers call him the three-eyed prodigy, their voices tinged with awe and fear. You follow him across distant lands, through valleys shadowed by ancient spirits and peaks kissed by starlight.
Hachies evenly I pierce illusion no mortal coup d'un ravel, shattering mass woven by forgotten sorcery. saving village from malvol force det lurk in the dark.
He walks with purpose, his steps light yet resolute, his gaze cutting through deception like a blade through silk. Yet each time he uses his third eye, you notice a subtle change. His eyes grow colder, as if the weight of truth presses heavier on his soul. He sees gods with faces of jade and hearts of venom, demons fierce with rage yet steeped in sorrow, and a world where good and evil blur until even he questions the clarity of his own vision. One evening, young Jian returns to Qingqing Mountain, his silhouette sharp against the fading light. You see him stand before the stone sealing his mother, young Shi, imprisoned beneath the earth's unyielding weight. He says nothing, only places a hand on the cold rock, closing all three eyes. A faint crack echoes through the air, and the mountain trembles, a quiet protest against the heavens' decree. But he does not shatter the stone. Instead, he whispers, his voice soft yet unyielding, "I will use these eyes to question the sky, to see if my mother was truly wrong." The words carry a resolve that could shake the stars, a promise to seek justice not with anger, but with clarity. After that night, young Jian is no longer the boy who practiced swordplay in the morning mist. He is a man stepping toward secrets, toward the scroll of divinity, toward those who twist the threads of fate for their own ends. He walks toward battles where blood will spill and light may not be enough to guide the way. You, like a leaf caught on the hem of his robe, follow him, uncertain of what lies ahead. You know only this: the eye on his forehead was not born to see, but to awaken the heavens themselves, to demand answers from a cosmos that has remained silent too long. The mists of Qingqing swirl around you, cool and soft, carrying the scent of pine and distant rain. The stream beside you hums, its waters reflecting a sky that seems to hold its breath. The temple bells toll faintly, their sound fading into the wind, and young Jian's steps echo with quiet purpose. You drift onward, drawn deeper into his story, feeling the weight of his destiny settle over you like a gentle tide. His journey is only beginning, a path lit by the unflinching gaze of the heavenly eye, a light that may yet pierce the shadows of a world on the brink of change. You awaken in a realm untouched by wind or sky, where the air is thick with the scent of molten metal and the flicker of restless flames. Beneath your feet lies a vast expanse of black stone, cracked with veins that pulse like the lifeblood of the earth. Above, a gray dome looms, not a true sky, but the vault of an immense forge, the 8 treasures' golden cauldron, where souls are chosen not for their deeds or sins, but by the silent will of heaven's mandate.
The fire within is no ordinary flame.
It does not burn flesh, it sears the heart clean, stripping away all but destiny. A faint creak echoes through the stillness, like the turning of ancient pages. You see a book, its sandalwood cover inlaid with jade, its pages crafted from hides of beasts long forgotten, each word shimmering as if etched in starlight. Before a stone table stands a Taoist in gray robes, his swallow-winged cap casting shadows across his silver beard. He does not look at you, yet you feel his presence, as if he has been waiting for this moment, for you, for the turning of the celestial wheel. On the table lies an ancient set of oracle tiles, each one a spiritual talisman woven from the essence of heaven and earth. The Taoist lifts them one by one, his voice steady as he calls out names.
Nezha, born of the mortal world, Lotus Soul, Fate of fire.
Young Jian, of divine lineage, three-eyed wielder of the heavenly eye. Lei Zhenzi, nurtured by thunder and wind, true form of lightning. Shen Gongbao, Cheng Jiaojin, Manjusri Guangfa Tianzuan. Each name resonates like a bell, summoning a soul into being. You watch as they appear in the firelight, their forms shifting from mist to clarity, from doubt to resolve. They do not speak, do not resist. They stand, as if they have awaited this call for centuries. Far from this forge, by a distant river, an old man sits fishing. His rod has no hook, its line spun from the wind, its bait nothingness itself. This is Zhang, the last disciple of Kunlun, who turned away sainthood to live among mortals, waiting for the day when rivers flow backward and the way of heaven shifts. Some call him a mad old man, others whisper he is long dead. But you see him clearly, motionless by the water's edge, neither hungry nor weary, his eyes half closed, his ears attuned to the faint tremors of the cosmos.
When the wind change et murmure, he will act.
When the scroll reveals its names, I will descend.
When the moment commence, none can escape.
The scroll of divinity exists beyond the mortal realm, inscribed on the 9th layer of heaven. Each line is a soul forged in this cauldron, chosen not by human hands, but by the silent decree of the heavenly way. You watch as names begin to appear, 1, then 2, then 10, then hundreds. With each name, a soul in the forge glows, transforming into light and soaring to its destined place. A battlefield, a palace, a desert, a snow-capped peak, or perhaps death itself. The air hums with their departure, a quiet song of fate unfolding. You look around, seeing each soul find its path, its purpose.
Yet you remain, standing still in the flickering light.
Your name is not on the scroll.
No voice calls you forward. A strange relief wash over you, mingled with en haching emptiness.
This game, this celestial chessboard, is not meant for you. The Taoist returns to the table, his movements slow and deliberate. He says nothing, only lights a single stick of incense. Its smoke curls upward, weaving through the last embers of the 8 treasures golden cauldron. The forge's great door begins to close, its heavy groan echoing like a final breath. You are left alone in the gathering dark, the air heavy with the scent of ash and sandalwood. A voice, unspoken yet clear, resonates within you. The sealing of gods has begun. No one is safe.
The flamme dim, and the stone beneath your feet grow cold. You stand in the silence, a solitary witness to the turning of an era.
The names on the scroll burn in your mind. Nezha, Jian, Zhenzi, and countless others, each a piece on a board too vast to comprehend. The forge has done its work, forging souls not for glory, but for a purpose etched in the stars. You feel the weight of their destinies, a quiet tide pulling you deeper into the story.
The darkness closes in, soft and heavy, like a velvet curtain falling.
The scent of incense lingers, faint but persistent, as if carrying the echoes of those chosen souls. You, a fleeting shadow in this cosmic forge, drift onward, knowing the game has only just begun. The scroll of divinity looms above, its names glowing like stars in a sky that no longer feels distant, and you sense that the world below is about to change forever. You lift your gaze to a sky alive with flashes of lightning, where a boy carries the pulse of thunder in his bones, born to shatter the old order. The air is dry, yet a chill runs down your spine, as if the heavens themselves are trembling. In a distant mountain range, sunlight spills over shattered stones and quivering leaves, but the wind is still, the birds silent. The world seems to hold its breath, sensing the awakening of a storm long dormant in the clouds. You stand on a rocky outcrop, your eyes drawn to a figure unlike any other, a boy alone, untouched by fear or doubt. He stands naked in the heart of a tempest, his curly hair glowing like copper wires ablaze. His eyes burn with the fire of molten jade, and each breath he takes crackles with electric energy, splitting the earth beneath his feet. Tiny motes of dust rise around him, drawn upward as if pulled by an otherworldly force. No one knows his origins, his parents lost to whispers and shadows. The villagers keep their distance, their voices hushed with awe and fear, calling him only the child of the thunder god. At 7 years old, a storm of heavenly lightning descended upon the mountains where he lived. It consumed everything, trees, homes, flesh, and bone. Yet from the heart of that searing blaze, the boy opened his eyes, his gaze no longer human but charged with a divine spark. You see it clearly. Something was forged within him that day, a command, a purpose, a flame that cannot be extinguished. Far away, on the snow-draped peaks of Kunlun, Zhenzi sits in meditation, his breath steady as the rhythm of the cosmos. A sudden bolt of thunder splits the air before his cave, melting snow and kindling flames. The sun itself seems to shudder for a moment. The sage opens his eyes, his voice a quiet murmur. Zhenzi has emerged. The celestial court prepares to enter an age of fire and blood. Without delay, he mounts a white crane, soaring through the mists to the boy's mountain. He carries no weapons, no disciples, only a fan crafted from dragon scales, capable of taming lightning as one might sheath a sword. You witness their first meeting. The boy, barely aware of his own strength, shatters stones with his bare hands, not to train but to play. Each strike sends sparks flying like fireworks, illuminating the barren slopes. Zhenzi stands 100 paces away, his voice soft as a breeze. What is your name? The boy squints, uncomprehending. And a peal of thunder rumbles behind him, as if the sky itself awaits his answer. The sage smiles gently. No matter. Names are for calling. Destiny is for remembering. He opens his dragon scale fan, and the electric aura around the boy converges, shimmering like golden threads drawn into its folds. From that moment, the boy follows him, and the name Zhenzi is born, not bestowed by man, but spoken by the heavens and the earth. You walk with them through years of training, unlike any other disciple's path. Zhenzi does not study scriptures or recite incantations. His lessons are with the storm itself. He sits beneath torrential rains, his body a conduit for lightning, each strike tempering his spirit. He submerges himself in icy lakes, letting electric currents tighten his muscles, forging them like steel. He breathes in the heart of tempests, summoning bolts with the palms of his hands. No one teaches him, for none dare. You see it clearly. Thunder is not his master. It is part of him, woven into his very. At 16, Zhenzi leaves Kunlun, not for glory or conquest, but because a call echoes from the scroll of divinity. You hear it, a whisper rising from the earth, falling from the heavens. The time has come. Move, piece of the board. He strides through forming battlefields, past crumbling empires, among immortals hesitating between the realms of heaven and man. Wherever he walks, rain follows, not gentle showers, but storms of electric fury, each lightning strike inscribing a stroke of fate upon the earth. Some kneel, calling him a god. Others curse, naming him a demon. But Zhenzi cares for neither praise nor scorn. His loyalty is not to gods or men, but to the heavenly way, the silent pulse that guides his steps. As the great war looms, as heroes are summoned to an unseen chessboard, you see him pause, lifting his gaze to the clear blue sky one final time. Then, with a single step, he enters the storm, his silhouette swallowed by sheets of rain and flashes of light. You are left with only the echo of distant thunder, rolling like a heartbeat across the mountains. A strange certainty settles within you. This child of lightning will not let the old order stand unchallenged. The air grows heavy, charged with the scent of ozone and wet stone. The world feels alive, electric, as if the heavens themselves are watching. You, a silent wanderer carried by the wind, drift onward, drawn deeper into the story. Lei Zhenzi's path stretches before you, a trail of storms and destinies, and you know that the sky will never be the same. You stand in a vast field under a sky where moonlight spills like a silken veil, stretching from the heavens to the earth. The night breeze carries not a chill, but a profound stillness, heavy with meaning, as if the world itself is whispering secrets of hope and endurance. In the heart of this quiet expanse sits a man, his simple robe unadorned, his eyes gleaming with a light that has witnessed the rise and fall of human glory. This is Shang, the Lord of Xiqi, known to later generations as King One. He is no saint, no immortal, just a man with a heart vast enough to hold the sorrows of the world and a mind sharp enough to see through the fog of a crumbling era. In these times, King Zhou drowns in power, beauty, and his own desires, while the court rots and the people's trust frays like worn cloth. The quiet groans of the common folk, like tender grass trampled by the wind, go unheard by most. But Shang is different. He listens, he sees, he remembers. Every whispered complaint, every crack in a mud wall, every weary glance from those who kneel at the palace gates, unanswered. Night after night, you watch him gaze at the stars, not to beg blessings from gods or plead with the heavens, but to ask a single question: how can people live as people should? An ancient prophecy from the western mountains echoes in the air. He who bears the mandate of culture, in times of chaos, shall become divine. No one understands its meaning, save Shang himself. He does not raise an army or build altars to the sky. Instead, he teaches. He shows children how to write their names, guides farmers to count seasons and stars, instructs villagers to store grain for droughts and plant mulberry for winter silkworms. You see him sit with village elders, tracing the paths of clogged streams. You see him visit the sick, bending low to hear a child's cough. And you see the children of Xiqi grow, their eyes no longer shadowed by fear, but bright with a quiet trust. One night, you hear, Shang dreams of a green dragon, its scales inscribed with the character for virtue. It does not soar but lies coiled by a stream, a rope binding its leg, as if waiting for release. When he wakes, he speaks no word of the vision, only orders a deep well dug in the mountains, naming it Dragon Pool. Years later, this is where he will meet Zhou, the man destined to carry his dream forward. Xiqi is not wealthy, yet it is peaceful. Not vast, yet it is strong. The people trust their lord, and he cherishes them in return. But such harmony cannot escape the jealous eyes of Chaoga's emperor. One day, a summons arrives, calling Shang to the capital. Fear ripples through Xiqi. Some urge him to feign madness, others beg him to flee. But he only smiles, his voice calm as the moonlit field. I carry the dreams of 10,000 souls. If I must die, let it be in the heart of the court, so the world may still believe justice has a path. You watch him ride alone to Chauga, no weapons, no entourage, his eyes fixed on the rising sun as they always are. In the palace, Daji sits beside King Zhou, her smile like a flower on the verge of blooming. Below, courtiers whisper and scheme, their voices a tangle of flattery and deceit. King Zhou's question cuts through the air. Do you know why I summoned you?
Jian replie steady, unflinching, tout esquive the levens ti remembeyou.
The words silence the hall, the air growing cold as if the stones themselves recoil. He is imprisoned, locked in a cell for 7 years. No sword, no lament passes his lips. His eyes remain bright, catching every sliver of sunlight that pierces the stone window. You hear tales of those years, how he taught guards to read, shared poems with them, showed them how to measure time by the shifting shadows. In that darkness, he penned the 8 principles, the foundation of rights, music, virtue, and morality that would guide generations to come. King Zhou eventually releases him, for the heavens do not permit the destruction of one marked by the mandate of culture. When Jian returns to Xiqi, he says nothing of his ordeal. He stands before Dragon Pool, gazing into its still waters, then sends for Shang, a man cast out from Kunlun for straying from the way. The world is in chaos, Jian says. I need someone unlike me. You stand in the twilight of Xiqi, watching an old man fish with a rod that needs no hook, a middle-aged man read by the water's edge, and children run across the fields, unafraid of pursuit. You feel it, a seed has been planted, its roots sinking deep into the earth, ready to grow into something greater than one man's life. Jian will not live to see King Zhou fall, nor witness the scroll of divinity unfurl. But every event that follows, every battle, every name etched in celestial light, springs from the dream he sowed in Xiqi.
The moonlight linger, soft and steady, I've blessing the land he loved. You, a silent breeze drifting through the fields, sense the weight of his vision, a qui promise that carry you forward into the unfolding story. The star above shine brighter, and you know that Jian's dream will outlast the ages, a beacon for a world yet to come.
You stand at the edge of a battlefield not yet aflame, where the morning mist clings to the earth, torn apart by the restless winds of war like fragile silk. Before you rises Wuyun Mountain, its peaks modest yet heavy with an ancient somber aura, as if the stones themselves demand a toll from those who dare ascend. The air is thick, not with smoke, but with a spiritual weight that feels like grief woven into the wind. Gfa, son of Jian, has taken up his father's mantle, bearing the mandate of heaven to reshape a crumbling world. The 100,000 troops of Xiqi, neither the mightiest nor the most numerous, march as one, bound by a shared conviction: the world must find a new master. You watch the Xiqi army move with deliberate grace, their steps measured, their silence profound. No battle cries pierce the dawn, no drums thunder through the valleys. Only the creak of cartwheels, the soft clink of iron, and the sharp glint in their eyes, like blades aimed eastward toward Chauga. Wuyun Mountain looms ahead, a sacred barrier where gods, demons, and immortals have left their marks, its slopes whispering of trials no mortal can face without sacrifice. Zhengzi rides a lean horse, his white whisk swaying gently, his silver hair gleaming like ash from the mountain's heart. His eyes burn, not with the fire of conquest, but with a sacred flame, awaiting the wind to set it ablaze. Beside him strides Nezha, reborn in lotus flesh, his youthful face fierce as summer thunder, his presence a storm contained. Young Jian follows, one eye glowing like a star, his spear steady, as if he has already glimpsed the fate of every soul in the ranks. Zhenzi, ever unsmiling, carries lightning in his steps, each footfall trembling the earth, as if the heavens themselves might crack under his weight. The sky shifts, not to dusk or storm, but to a stirring of spiritual energy rising from the mountain's roots, as if the earth knows a great game has begun. The heavens sigh, their light falling on sheathed swords, glinting like a promise of destinies yet to unfold. At the mountain's base, a vast array emerges, the heaven-defying slaughter formation, crafted by Shang generals with stones and steels inscribed in blood and ancient curses. To reach the summit, one must pass through, but to enter is to risk oblivion. Zhangzi's voice cuts through the silence, soft yet unyielding. Those who fear may turn back. Those who believe, follow me to the end. Not a single soldier falters, their resolve as steady as the mountain itself. You see Huang Feihu, once a pillar of the Shang court, now clad in silver armor, leading the vanguard. His face is carved with determination, his eyes red with the weight of brothers lost to a dynasty that has forgotten justice. He once stood in Chaoga's halls, his loyalty unwavering, until betrayal and cruelty drove him to Xiqi's cause. With a shout that echoes like a thunderclap, he charges, and the battle ignites, the clash of steel and spirit reverberating through the valleys. This is no ordinary clash on Wuyun Mountain. It is a crucible of souls, a trial where each step demands a toll from the earth, each cry carries faith tangled with doubt, swept away by the wind. As warriors fall, their names shimmer in the void, etched onto a jade tablet suspended in the sky, the scroll of divinity, flaring to life for the first time, its light piercing the haze like a beacon. Nezha leads the charge, riding his wind-fire wheels, his Hun Tianling whip cracking like a comet through the formation's heart, shattering its cursed stones. Zhenzi follows, his fists splitting cliffs, lightning trailing his strikes like a storm's roar, the ground trembling beneath his power. Young Jian stands before a stone statue animated by blood and malice, its eyes glowing with ancient wrath. With a single glance from his heavenly eye, it crumbles back to lifeless rock, its curse undone. You watch Shang generals fall, their fates as varied as the winds. Some die cursing, their voices bitter with resentment. Others pass with smiles of strange peace, as if released from a burden. A few, even as foes, hold their heads high, loyal to their own truth, their honor unbowed. The scroll of divinity pulses brighter with each name, inscribed not for victory, but for worthiness to be remembered. Friend and foe alike rise as light, their souls bound to a destiny greater than the battlefield, their names glowing like stars on a celestial scroll. As the sun sinks low, the battlefield falls silent, save for the wind whistling through armor, carrying the faint scent of blood and ash. Zhangzi kneels, planting his whisk in the earth like a marker between heaven and earth, a silent vow to the fallen. He says nothing, but the jade tablet in the sky begins to fade into the clouds, its light lingering like a promise. Later generations will say this was the day the heavenly way acknowledged a new order, when the old world began to yield to the dream of Xiqi. You stand among the fallen, Xiqi and Shang alike, your heart caught between the triumph of a step forward and the sorrow of its cost. Every victory is paid with a soul, every stride toward destiny a sacrifice. The air grows heavy, the mountain unmoved, its spiritual weight anchoring the world. You, a silent breeze drifting through the aftermath, feel the pull of the scroll of divinity, its names glowing like stars in a sky forever changed. The war has only begun, but its first battle has carved a truth into the earth. No soul emerges untouched, and the path to a new era is paved with light and loss. The mist swirls around you, cool and heavy, carrying the echoes of those who fought and fell, and you drift onward, drawn deeper into a story that will reshape the heavens and the earth. You stand witness as gods tumble from their silver thrones, their blood staining the 9 heavens, yet the sky remains silent, as if holding its breath. You cannot pinpoint when it began, only that after Wuyun Mountain, the battles cease to be mere mortal struggles. The heavens themselves tremble, watching their favored children dragged down one by one. Zhang, no longer a wandering sage with a whisk, has become a mortal knocking at the gates of the celestial court, not to beg or borrow, but to declare, "From this day I rewrite your names." The Battle of Yishui unfolds like a storm breaking over a silent sea. Across from Xiqi's army stands Chaoga's forces, no longer just men, but divine generals and celestial spirits ordained by ancient decrees, wielding miracles, heavenly might, and the mandate of the gods. Deng Hua, god of fire, summons flames that dance like stars. Yu Qi, god of weaponry, wields blades that cut through fate itself. Wen Ho, god of beasts, rides a crimson dragon, its roar shaking the earth. The 18 generals of Shang, each bearing a divine seal, once stood beside the emperor's throne, their names synonymous with invincibility. You see Nezha step forward first, unbidden by command or signal. His voice cuts through the air, sharp and defiant. Are they gods? Without waiting for an answer, he brandishes his fire-tipped spear, tearing through the wind, charging into the heart of Shang's camp like a bolt of lightning splitting the night. Deng Hua meets him, summoning a sky of fire, meteors raining down in a blazing torrent. Nezha spins his wind-fire wheels, laughing as he weaves through the flames, untouched, as if they were mere illusions. With a final whirl, a crack resounds like the sky fracturing. Deng Hua's neck snaps, he falls from his divine beast, the fire in his eyes extinguished before they can blink. Young Jian follows, facing Wen Ho and his crimson dragon. No words pass between them, only the clash of thunder and blood. Young Jian's movements are precise, his heavenly eye glowing with unrelenting clarity. In 3 strikes, he blinds Wen Ho, drives his spear into the earth, and the dragon's roar fades as its master falls. The sky grows still, as if mourning in silence. One by one the gods fall, not because they are weak, but because they stand against the tide of the heavenly way. Those who serve heaven, yet choose the wrong side, betray the very souls they were meant to protect. You stand amid the battlefield, watching the scroll of divinity unfurl, its surface blazing with light. Names appear, then are struck through, erased from the heavens' favor. The sky remains mute, offering no defense, no protest. The moon that night glows red as blood, as if swallowing the pleas of the fallen. Some gods kneel before their end, their voices trembling, "I only followed orders." Zhang's reply is cold, unyielding, "A wrong order is still yours to bear." Others defy the heavens, shouting, "Are you not the rebels?" Nezha laughs, his voice sharp as a blade, "If we're rebels, let's see who outlives whom." Their words echo across the field, a challenge to the silent sky above. Zhenzi enters the third clash, his armor crackling with thunder, his hands wreathed in lightning. Each step shakes the earth, as if toppling the pillars of heaven itself. He does not call out names, only strikes. His blows a storm that carves through divine ranks. The sky once again offers no answer, its silence a weight heavier than any cry. Among the Shang, one general, great god Song Ku, watches his comrades fall like leaves in a winter gale. He does not flee. Casting aside his weapons, he draws a talisman from his sleeve, sets it ablaze, and speaks. If the heavens still listen, descend and answer. Why must the virtuous die while the cruel command? The air grows still, the battlefield holding its breath.
No repli commence, only a single star falling, striking across the sky, splitting the field in two.
Thousands of soldiers look up, and in that moment they know, an old heaven is crumbling. You see Zhou standing amid the blood-soaked earth, gazing into the void. His face shows neither joy nor sorrow, only a quiet resolve. He murmurs, almost to himself, "To slay gods is not to take their place. To defy heaven is not born of hate. We seek only to rebuild from this ground with our own hands." His words drift like ash, settling into the silence, a vow to forge a new world from the ruins of the old. The scroll of divinity flares again, its light etching the names of the fallen, friend and foe alike, judged not by allegiance but by the roles they played in this cosmic drama. Each name glows briefly, a testament to their sacrifice, before fading into the eternal record of heaven. You turn to look back, the battlefield now quiet, the wind stilled, the insects silent, the earth holding its breath. A truth settles within you. From this day, no one can claim the heavens are just.
The air gros et viouit the sang of blood and earth, the sky above a vast, unyielding expanse.
You, a silent breeze drifting through the aftermath, feel the weight of the scroll of divinity, its names like stars in a sky forever altered. The war rages on, but this moment marks a turning point, a defiance that will echo through the ages, a challenge to a heaven that no longer holds sway. The battlefield lies still, and you drift onward, drawn deeper into a story where gods fall, and mortals dare to write their own fate. Whispers ride the western winds. Xiqi has a king kinder than the gods. The scroll of divinity opens to choose those who will aid Zhou and topple Shang. Heaven now looks to the west, no longer enthroned in the east. In Chaoga, the old court festers, its halls heavy with decay. King Zhou drowns in wine and desire, while palace maids weep silently, their laughter long extinguished. Daji, her eyes colder than the full moon, sits within her peach blossom array, her smile a mask hiding a dagger's edge. She does not move to stop Ji Chong. Instead, she gazes skyward, whispering to the heavens, "Let's see how long until he becomes like me."
Her word linger, a challenge to the star.
One night, you watch Ji Chong inscribe a simple truth: heaven's mandate rests with the virtuous. These words, unadorned yet bold, dare to overturn millennia of celestial law. The sky trembles, a faint ripple of unease spreading through the clouds, as if heaven itself feels the weight of his defiance. You follow Ji Chong to the sealed gates of the Three Saints Pillar Mountain, where the celestial court once barred immortals from meddling in mortal affairs. He does not force the gates open. Instead, he stands before them, drawing a wooden sword carved from sandalwood, etched with three characters: heaven-slaying decree.
Thunder crash, shaking the earth.
Celestial envoys descend from the clouds, their faces stern, but Zhou steps forward, his whisk raised like a shield. No, he says, his voice steady. Ji Chang only smiles. I do not slay the heavens. I slay their silence. With a single stroke, he swings the sword. You stand among the ranks of Ji Chang's army, the air alive with a quiet resolve of hearts united, a faint glow flickering at the horizon's edge. You have seen the blood of God stain the earth, watched the scroll of divinity blaze in the night sky, but now before you stands a man. Not a god, not a demon, but a king with silver hair, holding a book of rites, his eyes fixed on a distant dream. This is Ji Chang, known to posterity as Kunlun of Zhou, a man whose heart is wide enough to cradle the world's pain and whose vision pierces the chaos of a crumbling age. No one knows when his journey began, only that in a time shrouded in darkness, he chose to stand firm. He wields no immortal magic, no divine treasures, only the strength of reason, the loyalty of his people, and an unshakable belief that righteousness can overcome tyranny. You see him before 30,000 soldiers, his voice ringing like a bronze drum. If heaven does not change, I will change it. If the people still suffer, I will not rest. His words echo across the fields, a vow that stirs the air like a rising tide.
Xiqi, à modeste land where mountains meet rivers, bloom like a seedling piercing a decayed forest.
Tribes, sages, and common folk drift from Chaoga's shadow, drawn to this place, not for wealth or glory, but for the light in Ji Chang's eyes, the last ember of hope in a world grown cold. You see Zhang for the first time smile, not the grin of a general, but the quiet joy of a man who has found someone worth staking his life on. Xiqi's army is not vast, nor its soldiers invincible. 10,000 warriors, 200 sorcerers, and countless steadfast hearts march together, each step cracking the map of heaven's mandate, each spear raised a defiance of a fate written in stone. The blade shatters, its fragments scattering like petals. The thunder falls silent, and the sky holds its breath. From the broken sword, a radiant light spills forth, seeping into the earth, weaving through blades of grass, carried by the wind, and echoing in the sighs of porters hauling grain to feed Xiqi's army. You understand, from this moment, heaven no longer holds absolute sway. Xiqi's rebellion is no longer treason but the birth of a human way, rising against an outdated celestial order. You see a boy herding cattle lay down his staff to join the ranks. An old woman, leaving her loom behind, brings porridge to the soldiers' camp. A blind diviner, his voice rough with age, murmurs, I cannot see the future, but I know this place shines brighter than any other. Their actions are small, yet each weaves a thread into Ji Chang's dream, a tapestry of hope stitched with quiet courage. Ji Chang speaks little, but each step he takes writes a story into the earth. One need not be a god to live fully as a human. You stand among his rising army, the horizon's light still faint, its shape unclear. Yet within you something kindles, not a dream of becoming immortal, nor a thirst to topple kings, but a simple, stubborn hope. The air grows soft, carrying the scent of earth and distant rain, as if blessing the land Ji Chang has nurtured. You, a silent breeze drifting through the ranks, feel the pull of his vision, a quiet promise that carries you forward. The stars above gleam faintly, and you know that Xiqi's rebellion will shake the foundations of the world, forging a new era from the embers of the old. You stand enveloped in the stillness of night, where no voice calls and no echo answers. A faint breeze grazes your shoulders, its chill seeping into your bones, as if the world itself mourns in silence. Tonight, there are no war drums thundering, no swords gleaming beneath the moon. no songs of triumph to pierce the quiet. Only the scroll of divinity emerges, a golden ribbon unfurling from the heaven's highest reaches, silent as a whisper, without lightning or fanfare. It descends slowly, like an answer long withheld, the singular response the world has awaited through centuries of blood and fire. How many lives have you traversed? You have seen Daji cradle chaos in her laughter, her eyes glinting within her peach blossom maze. You have watched Nezha return from death, reborn in lotus flesh, riding the winds with defiant grace. You have witnessed Zhenzi carry the fury of thunder in his very bones, each step a storm that shakes the earth. You have seen young Jian open his heavenly eye, piercing the veils of mortal and divine truths with unflinching clarity. Zhang, his silver hair glowing under starlight, still clutches his whisk, standing resolute beneath the celestial scroll. And Chang, King One of Zhou, who closed his eyes forever yet left behind a dream of peace for countless souls. You, the silent chronicler, have carried their stories, and now you stand in a moment where words falter, where the tale pauses in reverence for its own weight. Only silence remains. The golden scroll appears, not with blazing light or resonant song, but with the quiet certainty of a world forged anew from the embers of war. It is the final spark of faith in a realm that has bled too long, a testament to those who fought, fell, and endured. Names align upon its surface, not ranked by glory or conquest, nor divided by allegiance, but chosen by a singular truth, who held fast to the heart's resolve, who remained true to the human spirit amid chaos. You see names etched in radiant light: Nezha, his fiery spirit unyielding; young Jian, his gaze cutting through illusion; Zhenzi, a storm in mortal form; Zhang, the sage who dared rewrite heaven's mandate. But there are others, unsung and uncelebrated. A soldier who stood guard through endless nights, his name forgotten by history. A child who carried water across blood-soaked fields, her small hand steady despite fear. A minister who cast aside rank to uphold honor, his quiet defiance a beacon in the dark. They were not radiant in life, yet their names glow softly on the scroll, honored for their unspoken courage, their lives woven into the fabric of a new era. You lift your eyes to the scroll, searching for your own name. Perhaps it was written there from the beginning, a quiet mark among the countless others. Perhaps it is absent, your role merely that of a witness, a breeze carrying the story through time. Yet, whether your name appears or not, no regret stirs within you. In this fleeting moment, you understand. The scroll of divinity is not about ascending to godhood. It is about remembering you were human, remembering the sacrifices you saw, the souls who fell, and the truth that this saga, with all its pain and hope, unfolded within your heart. The scroll rises slowly, as if time itself holds its breath, each movement deliberate, like a tide retreating from the shore. No celestial music heralds its ascent, no fireworks burst in celebration. No one claps, no one cheers. Only a gentle wind brushes through your hair, a final caress from a world closing its chapter. You stand on the cusp of dawn, the sky softening with hues of gold and rose, the earth awakening beneath your feet. The world remains as it was, trees green with life, streams murmuring softly, birds beginning their morning songs. Yet no one else knows the golden scroll ever appeared. But you know, and you will carry its truth forward. You will tell the story, not with grand gestures or epic proclamations, but by living on, your heart unburdened by regret.
You will tell it through your eyes, in act of keenness, in the small memory only you hold, the soul dies weary smile, The child est tremblinant, the ministeres final stand.
The scroll of divinity is not the end, but a chapter closed, a marker of all that was fought for, lost, and gained in this cosmic drama. You draw a deep breath, the air crisp with the scent of dew and earth, carrying the faint promise of a new day.
Lifting your gaze to the sky, you smile softly, a quiet acknowledgement of the journey's end. You step forward, the ground steady beneath you, no music swelling, no epic final unfolding.
Only a whisper lingers in the wind, soft as a sigh, it is done. And you are still writing. The dawn breaks gently, painting the horizon with light, and the scroll fades into the heavens, its weight a quiet promise in your heart. You, a solitary figure in a world reborn, carry the story of gods and mortals, of battles and dreams, into the light of a new era. The heavens are silent, but the earth hums with life, and you know this tale, though complete, will live on in every step you take, in every breath you draw, in every story you choose to tell.
You stand beneath a sky washed clean by dawn, where the stars have faded, and a soft light cradles the earth.
The scroll of divinity, once ablaze with names, has vanished into the heavens, leaving only a whisper of its presence.
No trumpet sound, no god descend.
The world breathes quietly, as if unaware of the saga that reshaped its fate. You have walked through the fires of war, seen gods fall and mortals rise. Nezha's laughter, young Jian's piercing gaze, Lei Zhenzi's thunder, and Jiang Ziya's steadfast resolve linger in your memory. Ji Chang's dream of a just world, sown in Xiqi's fields, now blooms in the hearts of those who carry on. You, the silent witness, have seen it all. Daji's smile, the blood-soaked earth, the names etched and erased on the golden scroll. Yet now, the battlefield is still, the air heavy with the scent of dew and new beginnings. The heavens no longer dictate with unyielding decree. The scroll of divinity was not a crown for gods, but a mirror for humanity, reflecting those who held fast to their hearts amid chaos.
You see a farmer tilling the soil, a child running through the fields, en held des waving tales by firelight.
Their lives, small yet unbroken, are the true legacy of this era. The gods may fade, but the stories of mortals endure, written in every act of kindness, every step toward hope. You turn to the horizon, where the first rays of sunlight spill over the mountains. No grand destiny calls you now, no celestial mandate guides your path. Only a quiet truth remains. To live is to carry the story forward, to honor the fallen by building anew.
You smile, the wind soft against your face, and step into the dawn.
The scroll of divinity has closed, but its light lives in you, a tale of sacrifice, defiance, and the enduring dream of a world made whole.